good health to you.
Is there anything interesting going on here?
Well, there's two good-for-nothings from Scarlets who are a thorn in my side. It's one thing sympathizing with them after what happened, but it's another when they get mixed up in all kinds of mischief. I'll catch them red-handed sooner or later. When I do, they'll be sorry they crossed me.
Is there anything interesting going on here?
It's so peaceful, it worries me.
Jesus, it's not as shallow as it looks.
Henry!
Hey!
Henry!
I'm glad to see you.
Matthew! Fritz! You're alive!
Of course we're alive.
You can't get rid of us that easily.
I'm almost surprised how happy I am to see the pair of you are all right.
We are now, but we barely made it.
Yeah, it was hard. Fritz ran like a little girl.
Really?
Bollocks! Bloody Joker.
Tell us what happened to you.
They gave me a pretty good thrashing as well. It was only in Rattay that I got back in my right mind.
And I see you're not doing too badly for yourself. What are you up to?
Right now, I'm a squire for Sir Radzig.
I see you've worked your way up.
And how are you two getting by?
It's shit.
You said it. We're still chopped off to bits, owe the monastery a bundle, and there's no work here.
Not for anyone with more than half a brain, anyway.
No one's interested in two good carpenters in Sasau.
No one.
And we looked everywhere.
Hey, you wouldn't happen to know of anything?
It will really help us out right now.
Well, I can ask around, but I'm not promising anything.
Thanks, Henry.
We'll pay off the debt, don't you worry.
What other neighbours of ours made it?
Your hunker's in the monastery. That girl really helped us out. That's about all we know. When we ran for it, we helped Teresa, but who knows where she is now? We got separated.
I owe my life to Teresa. She hauled me unconscious to the mill in Rattay and nursed me back to health.
I'm glad she survived. Since you know her so well, why not try asking her if she knows about any work?
And where would they hire you to?
Well, We were carpenters in the mines, so wherever they work with wood, I suppose. Forget about construction. After Skalitz, no one will be building for a long time. Just here in Sasau, and they don't want us here. The best chance we have is to work at a mill. People always have to eat. Ideally, we're looking for a job that pays a lot and doesn't require much work.
What? What the hell are you doing?
Welcome, Henry.
Matthew and Fritz send their regards.
They survived. My God, I'm glad. They helped me out a lot. And where did you see them?
In Sasau. I bumped into them in front of the tavern. Where else?
And how are they doing?
They're doing fine. The monks brought them back to health. But they don't have work, and they're in debt. You wouldn't happen to know of any jobs going for two lazy carpenters?
Not here. And I think it will be the same in all of Ratai. It's overcrowded with refugees and they're all looking for work.
That's bad. Those two need work badly. To keep them out of mischief. You know what they're like.
I do indeed. Try the mills in the smaller hamlets. The miller in the Dechko is old. Maybe he could use some strong hands.
I will. Thanks.
I hope I can be of help to you, knight.
Teresa, the millmaid, sent me. She said you could use some help.
Some extra pairs of hands would be useful. What do you have in mind?
My friends, two survivors of Skalitz, are looking for work.
And why should I take them?
They're experienced carpenters.
Why not? Carpenters would be helpful. There's a lot of work here at the mill, and I'm not as spry as I used to be. Thomas, my foreman, tries his best, but he ain't up to that kind of work. But they aren't idlers and drunks, are they? I only take in people who are willing to do hard, honest work.
I'm from Skalitz, and I know them both personally. They worked in the royal mines, and their master couldn't praise them highly enough.
In the Skalitz mines? That's skillful work. I'll be glad to talk to them. Tell them I'll give them a chance. We'll talk about pay and a roof over their heads when they get here.
Greetings, good knight. How may I serve you?
The miller and Ledechko would be happy to meet you.
You really found work for us?
Of course. I couldn't bear to look at those sour faces of yours a moment longer.
Thanks, Henry. Only...
What?
the reward we talked about, well, we haven't got 2 groschen to rub together.
Nah, that doesn't matter. You'll pay me when you have it.
That we will. Stop by and visit us in a week. We'll pay you back as soon as we get our first wage.
I'd like you to teach me how to be better at stealth.
Certainly.
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you. Now, pay close attention.
I'd like you to
Certainly.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
All right, but it'll cost you. Now, pay close attention.
I'd like you to
So,
I'd like to hone my...
first you have to...
Well,
I hope they leave soon.
Ah! Lord Almighty! What the hell are you doing?
So, from the beginning. My humble greetings. How may I serve you?
do you ever work with copper here?
No, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't. Zach from the monastery craftsman's yard has bought out all the copper.
What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
There's too many of us, I'll tell you that for free. This is only a small town. There's Zach, who has a forge in the craftsman's yard and mostly works on the construction of the church. And then, apart from me, there's Master Armourer Otter of Ramstein.
Tell me more about Zach.
Don't have much time for him myself. He knows his craft, no question. But he seems to think his son, Vitus, will be a master armourer in Prague one day.
My father was a blacksmith, and I expect he thought much the same about me. That's how fathers are, isn't it?
Of course, any man should be proud of his boy. But Zach makes pride a sin. That's why he's at loggerheads with Master Otter.
Can you tell me something about Master Otter?
Well now, there's a master to look up to. He's worked for the lords of Kunstadt and for the richest townsfolk of Prague.
If you don't mind my asking, what brings him here?
The same as draws all reasonable people. He's enjoying the peace and quiet. Or rather, he used to enjoy some peace. That dispute with Zach must have put a few more wrinkles on his brow.
What are Zach and Master Otter arguing about?
Zach had his boy Vitus trained as an armourer in Kuttenberg, and he wanted to buy out Otter's place for him. Except that Otter's a proud man. How would it have looked? A master armourer giving way to a young whippersnapper who's barely let go of his mother's skirts? And they've been arguing ever since. Well, Zach mostly. He badmouths Otter every chance he gets. He claims that he's only fit for mending pots, and that his son will see him off.
That will be all. Thank you.
God save you. What can I do for you?
Any chance of some work?
Well, come to think, there is one rather delicate matter to attend to. A while ago, a holy man came by here. He said he'd come from the Holy Land, and he was selling various relics he'd collected on his travels to pay his way.
I see.
Well, I heard he had some fragments of a sacred sword that once belonged to the fabled Czech Queen of Sheba. But by the time he reached me, he had no pieces left of the sword. All he had was some dubious wares, splinters from our Lord's cross, thorns from the crown, nothing of interest to me.
And where did the pieces of the sword go?
He sold them off to swordsmiths and blacksmiths hereabouts. They just keep them lying around at home for good luck. If I had them, I'd forge them back into a sword. Can you even imagine what power it would command? If you could get me all the pieces of the sword, I'd repay you very handsomely.
Are you sure the Queen of Sheba's a Czech queen?
Who else would she be? Have you not heard of her? Our some priest. She's in the Bible.
Uh-huh. Isn't it a bit strange that some pilgrim would have something so valuable?
Are you suggesting you might have been lying? Well, people aren't to be trusted, but this is nothing to joke about. God would smite him in a flash if he made light of holy relics that way.
What kind of power did this sword have?
What do you think? It brought its bearer good luck in combat and protection from enemies.
Where can I find the powers?
Like I said, the smith hereabouts bought them from him.
They say the largest piece is with the Rat-Eye swordsmith. The bastard probably won't want to sell. But if you manage to swipe it somehow...
I could do with a sword like that. What if you sold it to me?
Well, everything has its price. But this one would be expensive. Getting hold of the bits is one thing. Forging them back together is quite another. That tinkerer from Rat-Eye couldn't manage it.
Well, it does sound very interesting. I'll ask them and see what I can do.
Excellent. You'll see you won't regret it. I'll pay you well.
About that sword.
Now, what was it I wanted? God's blessings. What can I do for you?
The skull is a fake. Someone fixed horns on a human skull.
But where would they get a human skull? And why would they do it?
Maybe to frighten the workers? Raise the price?
But that wouldn't help anyone. It had to be some idiot's idea of a prank. An idiot who was nearly responsible for getting a man killed.
God be with you, good sir.
Can we do something about the price?
Well, we can try it.
Are we agreed?
You won't convince me with that. Aye, for that amount I can be persuaded.
I'm honoured that you should come to me.
Do you make anything out of copper, Master?
I do a bit of Damascene decor sometimes. Why do you ask?
I'm looking for someone who could do me some copper sheets.
Well, that's pretty rough and ready work. I wouldn't waste my time with it. But go and ask Zach from the craftsman's yard by the monastery. He's bought up all the copper to be had around here anyway.
What can you tell me about the blacksmiths here in Sasau?
Depends which ones you mean. In the town there's Mikesh. He's a decent man and an honest craftsman. And in the yard by the monastery there's Zach. But there's not many good words I can say about him.
Tell me something about Mikesh.
Like I said, he's an honest craftsman. Which isn't something you can say about every blacksmith in town.
What about the monastery blacksmith, Zach?
Well, him and me don't exactly see eye to eye. He wanted to buy my business, but I turned him down. Ever since then, he hasn't had a good word to say about me.
That'll be all. Thank you.
looking for a job? God save you. What can I do for you?
Do you want something?
I do. And you look like the kind of fellow who knows a thing or two and wouldn't mind a bit of work that's not entirely, well, honest.
What's it about?
I'm looking for someone who knows how to dip her pockets. For a reward, of course.
Oh, well, it's lucky for you that I happened along. Who do you want me to rob?
There's a farmer who lives in the craftsman's yard. He made a killing supplying vegetables to the monastery. I worked for him for a while, but then he threw me out without even paying me for my labour. I'd like you to steal the groschen he owes me. And also a pouch containing an amulet he got from the herb woman. He's as superstitious as an old crone, so when he realises he's lost it, he'll have a fit.
Sounds easy enough.
It ain't quite that easy, otherwise I'd handle it myself. That fucker don't trust no one, and he's always looking over his shoulder. If you manage to nick his pouch and his coin, you can keep the groschen as a reward. God be with you.
Here's the farmer's pouch you asked for.
Great, thanks. He'll have a fit when he finds out. He won't get a wink of sleep till he gets a new one. You see, he's got this idea he'll be eaten alive by fleas and lice without his amulet.
I'm always on the lookout for work. What have you got?
When I worked for the farmer, I took a fancy to his maid. Only she's got someone else. A draper. He gives her fine shawls and chemises. And I don't have a chance. Go and steal the shawl she has.
What use would her shawl be to you?
I'll slip it to someone else and then tell the draper his sweetheart puts no value on the gifts he gives her. He's really jealous, so he'll be mad as hell.
That's not very nice of you. But what do I care? What's it worth to you?
Don't worry. I'll reward you in groschen.
What? What the hell are you doing?
God be with you.
The swordsmith from the town said he was after the pieces of a sword from some Queen of Sheba. A pilgrim was selling them a while back.
I know he's after those, but he's out of luck. He should have bought it while he had the chance. I still have mine on me. It brings me good fortune, and I shan't sell it.
Not even...
Not even for a king's ransom.
Do you work any copper here, Master Blacksmith?
Why'd you ask?
I'd want to commission you to make something.
Then you'd best go elsewhere. I never use copper.
That's not what I heard.
What?
I was told in town that you bought all the other blacksmiths' copper.
I'm being made a fool of yet again, it seems. Anything else? I still have work to do.
So back to that copper, Master Blacksmith.
What? I thought I told you I don't work with copper.
That's not what I heard.
What?
I was told in town...
I'm being made... Anything else?
What can you tell me about the Sasau blacksmiths?
Well, there's Mikesh. He's honest enough, and a fair-hand at everyday things. And then there's Master Otter. He used to have talent, but now he's too old, and too proud to admit it.
I'm honoured that you should come to me.
Your father says you don't work any copper.
We don't.
I've heard differently around town. They say your father's bought up all the copper to be had.
Are you calling me a liar? Or my father? You're asking for it, boy.
Just be sure you know what you're letting yourself in for.
Was that a threat? Do you think I'm an idiot?
You don't get it, do you? I don't particularly want to fight with you. I don't have the time or the need to prove anything. So I'll just take my knife and stick it between your ribs. And then I'll keep twisting until you tell me the truth.
Jesus Christ! Are you insane?
Maybe. So are you going to talk?
Just take it easy. You're right. We do make copper sheets here at night.
So why all the secrecy about it?
Father forbade me to talk about it. I don't know why, I didn't ask.
Who buys those sheets from you?
I don't know. I've never set eyes on him. Father doesn't like to talk about it.
Your father has some serious explaining to do.
Jesus, please don't hurt him.
We'll see about that. So back to that cop.
What?
Your son put it quite differently.
What's that? What are you blabbering on about?
Don't be angry with him. I didn't give him any choice.
All right. I suppose there's no point lying. We do make copy sheets here, and I want you to keep it quiet.
Why?
Pays me good money, and the people I do it for. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of them.
Did they threaten you?
They didn't have to. Just by the look of them, I could say I needed to shut my mouth and do what they wanted.
And did they ever tell you who they were? Do you know where to find them?
I know a little. But show some understanding. There's nothing but trouble in it for me. I'll lose the work and be left looking over my shoulder for some thugs to come and burn down my house. Or worse.
If you don't cooperate, you'll be getting a lot worse than that from me.
There's no need for threats. We can both benefit here. If I tell you everything I know, you can help me with a certain small matter. One that'll cover up for my loss of earnings.
Do you know what the penalty is for counterfeiting?
I never give it much thought.
Evidently, because the penalty for counterfeiting is burning at the stake. And I can personally guarantee that when you're standing on that pyre, you'll find a loss of earnings is the least of your concerns.
No, of course you're right. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. It's just that I'm afraid of being left destitute.
So, out with it. What's been going on?
One evening I got a visit from this scruffy beggar calling himself Rapota. He had a yellow cape on and kept whistling to himself. There was a knight with him too, but he didn't give his name. They told me what I had to do, how much I'd get for it, and I had to keep my mouth shut.
And where can I find this Rapota? Or the knight?
I don't know exactly. But I've always left the wagon with the goods behind the monastery, on the hill there, next to a small chapel under a big tree.
Anything else?
No. I swear that's all I know.
Well, that'll do me for now.
Young man, about that matter I need help with. I'll gladly pay you.
First, tell me what's going on.
I recently tried to buy Master Armourer Otto Rabstein's business for my son Vitus, but that old fool wouldn't listen to reason. He said he couldn't understand his legacy being taken over by a clod like my Vitus. Despite the insult, I doubled my offer, but Master Otto still wouldn't budge.
And what is it you need from me?
I thought I'd show Otto that Vitus isn't such a dolt as he thinks, but for that I need someone experienced in combat.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. What's your plan?
Otto's busy making a very pretty suit of armour for the bailiff. So I was thinking, if we could show that pretty armour of his is absolutely useless, he'd be disgraced.
And how am I supposed to see to that?
Well, I'd reckon we'd arrange a duel of champions with bludgeons. You'll put on Vitus's armour, and Otto will send his champion in that tin shit of his. You invite the bailiff to watch, and Otto will be made a laughingstock in front of everyone.
But what do I get out of it?
Vitus will let you have the cuirass from his suit of armour, and I'll throw in a few groschen on top.
Sounds good.
And I'm sure a fella like you will be glad to be on good terms with the best armourer for miles around, eh?
That remains to be seen. Do you really think that will work?
Otto's always mouthing off in the alehouse that my young lad isn't worth a damn. Once I show he's just a bitter old bastard spouting hot air, his business will be ruined, and Vitus will reap the reward. What with all the strife in the country these days, there'll be no end of work for a good armourer.
But what if I lose?
Nonsense. How could you? Vitus's armour is light as an eggshell and hard as a rock.
How about if the armour for the bailiff mysteriously went missing?
Jesus Christ. Don't even talk about it. Although, if Otto doesn't agree to the duel, it might be the only option.
Exactly. And if you want to wreck Otter's reputation, not keeping his promise to the bailiff could be even worse for him than your idea.
You're right. Do whatever you think fit then. But if the armor gets, lost, don't come to me afterwards. I know nothing about it, right?
Of course. I brought you that girl's shawl.
Thank you. I'll hide it in the farmer's bed and then tell the draper. He'll cripple the bastard if you don't kill him outright.
Who is it you want to get revenge on? The farmer or his maid?
All of them. They're all a bunch of diabolical swine. And that draper, too.
Is there anything else you want?
One last thing. But it won't be so easy this time. I got my own back on the farmer and that wench. Now it's the draper's turn. They're stealing my girl. Steal the tinderbox he carries. It's his pride and joy. And he's always boasting about how fine it is. Everyone knows it's his. Once you've got it, I'll set the whole bloody farm on fire and drop his tinderbox there so everyone will blame him.
What reward will I get?
I'll give you a pair of boots I just got from the cobbler. You'll never find more comfortable ones in your life.
The Avenging Angel is at your service. I'll get right on it.
What's that?
What the hell was that?
So I can tell you what it was.
What the hell was that?
I must be going mad.
Hey, where's your torch? Can't walk around here in the dark without a light.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Get out of here.
I've got the Draper's tinderbox for you.
He who laughs last, laughs loudest. Here's the boots I promised you. Wear them in good health. And now I'll go and get my revenge.
Don't move a finger. What's that?
You've been making trouble and beating people up. We don't put up with that around here. Well, you won't forget this in a hurry, because it'll take a nice pile of coin to fix it.
I can't pay that.
You don't pay, you go to jail.
Jail it is, then.
Just the accommodation for you. Get moving.
Well, what do you want?
Master Armourer, I have a message for you from Blacksmith Zack.
If it's another one of his so-called generous offers, you can go straight back and tell him I'm not selling, and that's that.
No, this is another matter. Vitus wants to challenge you to a duel.
What? Me fight with that brat? Zack must have lost his mind entirely.
That's not how it will be. The real duel will be between your pieces of handiwork.
How's that?
It will be a duel with bludgeons. No bloodshed. At most a few bruises and some dents in the armour. Zack chose me to wear Vitus armour.
And so I'm to choose a champion of my own? That sounds reasonable.
Good. So let's agree on the time and place.
Hold your horses, young fella. I've got a counter offer for you. Now, I'm sure Zack is paying you well.
I won't deny it.
I could pay you more, and I'd tailor-make a cuirass just for you. What do you say?
You mean if I fight as your champion instead? I'm not sure how Zack would take it.
No, you fight on Zack's side and lose.
That's not very honourable.
And Zack's constant slander and mudslinging are the height of honour, are they?
Zack might be acting the scoundrel, but why lower yourself to his level? You should show you're the better man.
Better than that, upstart. I'm a master of my craft, boy. I've made armour for the Lords of Kunstadt. I've no need to prove anything to anyone. So, are you going to help me or not?
All right, I'll do it.
Wonderful. Zack won't know what hit him.
So, choose the time and place.
What, me?
You're the one being challenged, so it's your right.
Well, it's all the same to me. Go and sort it out with the bailiff. He should know about it anyway, so I don't look like a troublemaker.
All right?
Jeez!
What the hell?
Here.
Though you'd be better off going for a good scrub. You stink like a badger.
I'm here on behalf of blacksmith Zack.
Zack? What does that madman want now? Don't tell me. It's another complaint about the Master Armorer. Well, you can tell Zack if he wastes another minute of my time with that pathetic feud of his. I'll have him up for disrespecting the office of the bailiff.
No, it's not a complaint this time. In fact, Zack came up with an idea to settle the dispute once and for all.
Is that so? Well, that's a different kettle of fish. That's just what I was after. You have my full attention, friend. What's his plan?
A duel.
Jesus Christ! Has he lost his wits entirely?
But don't worry, Goodman Bailiff. No one will get killed. It will only be a duel with bludgeons. Zack chose me as his champion. I'll be wearing a suit of armour made by his son, Vitus, and I'll fight Otter's champion. Whoever falls first, loses.
That sounds like a fine spectacle for the village green. Naturally, I'll have to be present to ensure nothing untoward happens.
Your presence is certainly expected, Bailiff. We'd like you to referee the whole duel.
Very well. We'll have it on the marketplace in the front of the church. But when?
That's up to you.
It's pouring down outside. Such entertainments are best kept for more clement weather.
All right, Bailiff. I'll come another time.
Here. What is it? Are you serious?
Damn.
I've come about the duel.
We can announce it right now.
Let's do it.
I'll have it announced around town. You come along at just the right time. It'll be a fine show for the townsfolk, and I'll finally get that pair and their constant squabbling off my back.
Good citizens of Sasau, our township has long been plagued by a protracted dispute. As you are no doubt aware, Zack, the blacksmith of the monastery courtyard, and Master Armourer Otto Rabstein have been, for some time, at odds.
Ha ha! Added hammer and tongs, more like!
And in so much as it behoves my office as bailiff to settle such disputes and maintain peace and order, I have decided to resolve the blacksmith's quarrel by unconventional means, whilst affording an entertaining spectacle. In short, we shall let them knock each other's teeth out. However, since it ill befits two respectable tradesmen to maul each other on the market square like a pair of cocks on a dung heap, each of them has elected a champion. Zack, the blacksmith, has appointed to fight in his stead Henry of Scarlets. And Master Otto Rabstein's champion will be... Please, introduce yourself, Sir Knight.
Master Otter will fight for Master Otter. I don't need some young pup to take my place.
I remind you that this will be a duel with bludgeons alone, and until first blood is shed. Come, folks, be sensible for heaven's sake. We don't want any maiming here, or, God forbid, murder. So, if both contestants are ready, let us begin.
You kicked that old bastard's arse, Henry. His ears will be ringing for a month. Now everyone will see who knows how to make armour and who's all hot air.
It was as easy as falling off a log. Any other business disputes you'd like me to sort out for you?
I might have, lad, but not any you can solve with a bludgeon. Anyway, come by the forge later for your reward.
All right?
Hey!
Jesus Christ be praised.
I heard that fine suit of armour Otter made for the bailiff disappeared from his house.
Jesus! The place is crawling with thieves these days. Thank Christ it didn't happen to me. But at least... Ah, I see what you mean.
You promised me Vitus Kyrus and a few groschen on top.